What the?
What are you doing?
Oh my
I
god.
don't even know what's going on.
Hi there, Aquarius. Let's get going with your quick reading. Whoops. Okay. I already have your weird and wild oracles pulled out there because I did that a few days ago. So let's just get your 5 cards. Okay, so we're going to have one card for the theme for approximately 5 days whenever you get this. And then we're going to have another card for your challenges, then one for finances, one for romance, and one for the solution. Okay? And again, I've got the gain turned up so that you could hear some of this, but I'm always aware that it, like when somebody's banging cards on a wooden table, especially like something made out of cherry like this, it can be pretty painful if you're wearing headphones. So I'm trying to always be mindful of that. Whoa, okay, too many. Boy, I know what I just heard. I don't know what that was, but I know what I just heard. Okay. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, so what's the overall theme? For Aquarius. Ooh. Nope. Let's see. Nope. Can't take them if they don't look just right because I'm going to go total Virgo anal retentive. Okay. Gotta be right. There we go. Okay, so we've got, for the theme, we've got the 6 of Wands in reverse. Very curious. Okay. Jupiter in Leo energy. All right. Feel like you're not being recognized. Woo! Okay. For your challenge, yeesh, we have the Emperor in reverse. Mars energy. Oh, okay. For your finances, we have the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. What is going on? For, for romance, we've got 7 of Wands in reverse. What's going on? Well, gosh, yours are flipping so weird. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the solution is the King of Swords, and I feel I can't take it because it was underneath this 10 of Wands in reverse. So I'm going to take the 10 of Wands. Nobody wants to see the King of Swords in reverse. Nobody wants the King of Swords reverse. Nobody wants the Queen of Swords reverse. Okay, I think we're good there. So let's just stop with that. Okay. Okay. So for the theme being the 6 of Wands in reverse, I may shuffle just to feel something. Just to see if any other clarification comes out because it just felt so weird, Aquarius. So the 6 of Wands in reverse is a card that talks about failure. Okay, so a project failing, losing something, a disadvantage of some kind. It's also the card that can talk about a sneak attack. This is a card that can make you feel like your life has been thrown off balance or that others want to see you failing. Okay. Got that Emperor in reverse. Are you working with the boss who's a dick? Okay. This is also a card that could indicate that somebody is stealing your work or attempting to steal your work or even taking credit for your work. You could be feeling like you are being hunted, that somebody's coming up against you, or that somebody's playing the fiddles, musical fiddles here, and that you are second fiddle to this guy who wants you to fizzle. Well, let's just keep going. Okay. So for your challenge with this Emperor in reverse, this is somebody who somebody who, abuses their power, is stubborn, somebody who's rigid. He's not good with taking care of the community. So if he were a boss, if, he were somebody with some authority over you, this could be a bad situation, because this could be a person who's very immature and pushy and abusive and lacks discipline, so this is never the real emperor. This is somebody who's like a whack job. For those of you who can identify with this, maybe this person's father was not in the picture, or your father is not in the picture, or you are a father who's not in the picture, but we're going to keep reading. It could be that there is a paternity issue. Oh boy. Okay, so that would be like a pretty rare occurrence that we would. Oh, okay. Queen of Swords came up. That's true. Okay. Some of you could really be having a paternity issue. A paternity issue doesn't have to be the real question of one's genetic paternity. Okay, so for the finances and that Wheel of Fortune in reverse, that's a card that indicates that there's some kind of bad luck happening, or you feel like it's bad luck or that it's not fair. You still have to go with the flow no matter what's happening, because every dog has his day. Sometimes we're on top, sometimes we're on the bottom, sometimes we're the bug, sometimes we're the windshield. So as it relates to your finances specifically in the reverse, maybe you don't see your way out of a financial constraint, if it's truly a financial constraint. I mean, like, could be child support for some people that, if this is my child, I don't know. Are you having a situation? I don't see any women here. I'm probably talking to a lot of males, but don't over-identify with the gender assignment. Okay? Because we could be one thing, two things, everything, none of the things. No one really cares. Just be happy, and we are all protected, at least here in the United States, okay? This is like with that Six of Wands in reverse, where people seem to want to see you fail. And if this is a work situation, you guys, if you're experiencing a work situation, yeah, you do have somebody who we could say is coming up against you or doesn't want to see you succeed. Hell of a situation. Been there, done that. The good thing about this, I think I'm going to look at it this way too. The good thing about this, Aquarius, you're not usually this person. Now, karma is a thing, and so is dharma. And also we know that the world is a circle, and what we do to others comes back to us. So like if you've done something to someone, it will come back to you to revisit. But I think this is about them. I think there's going to be a large faction of you that really feel like, damn, like, no way. This stuff keeps coming up and I can't even begin to explain myself. I cannot explain myself to these people because they're not letting me explain it. So if there's a project that looks like it's really wobbly right now and it's not going to succeed, chances are it will not succeed. But with the Wheel of Fortune, you have to keep going, The wheel keeps on turning, literally. Huh. Now, with romance, I'm still going to read these together in different contexts, but in romance, we've got this Seven of Wands in reverse. This is kind of like giving up and giving in. What is going on here? Sometimes we do have to acquiesce, and it's in everybody's best interest. Everybody's best interest to give a little. Although you're going to find that there are people in this life, I hope none of you ever meet people like this. I have. You're going to meet people that, no, it's their way or the highway. They're the only authority. Do as I say, not as I do. In fact, I won't tell you what I'm doing. You're just going to do what I say. All right. Been there, done that. I know what that looks like. I know what it smells like. And that's what this card is giving. So this is also you feeling vulnerable or overwhelmed and not being able to really control the situation. You could be feeling like your health issues are keeping you from doing more of what you consider to be your best work. Mars energy. I could see how if you're feeling less than empowered, Seven of Wands in reverse, because that's the Manipura chakra. So you feel like you can't. Manipura, that's solar plexus chakra. What is going on? You really are feeling like you can't, because then that Ten of Wands shows up, but you just feel like you can't. I'm feeling like you can't. You feel like you can't. It feels like you can't, or you feel a little bit weakened here, but okay. In relationships, though, the Seven of Wands in reverse is telling you to stand up for yourself and to be decisive, right? You're supposed to cover all your bases and give yourself different options. So let's look at this just in a myopic view. If you are having difficulties with your relationship and somebody is being very difficult with you, maybe some of you are in a situation where you are divorcing. Maybe there is the precipice of divorce. Maybe you're just going through counseling. I wouldn't like this. I wouldn't like this emperor for you as a mediator, counselor, therapist. I'm whoever you have now. Of course, this is a fictional storytelling. Okay. I really wouldn't like that. I wouldn't want to see somebody who's in the reverse be anybody's counselor, therapist, advisor, thinker, througher. Okay. With that Wheel of Fortune, you could feel like everything's against you and you are feeling like, oh my gosh, I'm just so tired of this. I can't go through with it. I don't want to go through with it. But the Wheel of Fortune is saying you will have to go through this. Maybe you've got some court ordered kind of family mediation. I don't know what that's like for you. But for the solution, we have the Ten of Wands in reverse, Saturn in Sagittarius. Sagittarius energy, that makes me feel a little prickly. Boy, this just smells like somebody's court case, somebody's paternity case, somebody's divorce. It's not for all of you, obviously, but this would be an excellent setup. Ooh. This would look exactly like somebody who does not want to go through with any more mediation or therapy. I don't want it. Doesn't have to be questioning paternity. This would be a situation where somebody's just like, I question this whole thing. Maybe I don't want this anymore. Maybe this is enough and we need to just complete the legal side of things. Aquarius, did I say Pisces before? Aquarius, you could very well, there could be, okay, how about this? If you are in Aquarius, and this is for entertainment purposes only, duh. Okay, but if you are in Aquarius and you're going through a divorce and this situation, this scenario is familiar to you, I would switch. I don't like that mediator. You know, the emperor could be a judge. There'd be very little you could do about that unless you could prove that there is a reason for the judge to recuse himself. Hmm. You know, you'll have to go through it and must go forward. You feel like you don't want to go forward and this thing didn't work out. 10 of Wands in reverse at the end. Frustration. This is a card of complacency. Somebody else is causing trouble for you. This feels like bad luck. But as a solution, the 10 of Wands in reverse is absolutely freaking amazing, because this is where in just a few short months, something major changes and you feel like, wow, breath of fresh air. Kind of like when you finally get rid of a relationship. I hate to put it that way, but it's really coming across that way. You finally get out of a relationship. You get rid of a relationship or a situationship or whatever kind of ship it was with somebody that you knew was just not compatible, and you feel no passion. There's no passion here. Nothing. It doesn't, I feel nothing. This feels like a moon void of course. Are we in a moon void of course? I don't know. Let me just check and see while I'm doing this reading. No. Well, actually, yes, we are. Okay, because it is Monday the 21st. It's 8:13 where I am Mountain Time, and the moon went void of course at 12:52 p.m. All right, okay. So that exchange, or that explains why it feels like the moon void of course. I feel no passion. I feel no sexiness. I feel no longing, even when it's a situation like, you know, like if you've ever had a situation where you could be so mad at somebody or they could be so mad at you. But when that intimacy is, you know, everything flows. That's why you have to have a good sex life. You have to have a good intimate life. If the sex life isn't there, and I'm sorry to have to put it this way, people shouldn't be together if there isn't a good sex life. I'm really sorry about situations where people have accidents and things that are beyond wild, you know, that can really stop that from happening on a mechanical basis. Okay. But I'm talking about for most people, obviously, you do not want to be in. I think that this was a sexless relationship or a weird relationship. No sex was possible or probable or palatable. Okay. So let's read this. You have to have a good sex life. Okay. And don't say that it can't happen at different ages, because I know people well into their 80s and beyond that I have had firsthand experience with both of them talking to me about too much of what I don't want to know. Okay. So I do know. All right. I've got parents. My stepdad is 85. My mom is 80. And yes, there is a very healthy sex life present, even though those two people, maybe they shouldn't have been married for so long. But they stuck it out, and this is where, you know, things are all right. I've worked with my mother for a very long time on a lot of different things here. Okay, so in the other context, let's just look at this very quickly, and then we're going to get you your weird oracles, and we might pull a couple more weird oracles. Okay, so if you're in a situation where this is a work situation and you feel that there are people that are coming at you, that they're against you, that they're out to get you. Okay, at work, that you're being cock blocked about a job, you know, about a promotion, you know, that could be very real. That could be real. There could be a project that could be failing. There could be, I don't know. I see a lot of people here, but they seem to be those same one person over and over. I really feel like I've only got two people if this pertains to a job, a work situation. But it looks to me that it works out just fine in the end. You know, so maybe this is a transient issue where it's just, you know, one phase of a job, or you work on a contracted basis, or the jobs are shorter term, or maybe this fool of an emperor in the reverse won't be there very long. I hope for you that he won't, because I don't want to work with this freak of nature either. For those of you that are neither having problems with your job and your relationship is just fine, I think that it could just literally be a moon void, of course, that I'm picking up on. Bottom of the deck, I get the 9 of Cups there. So let me get your weird oracles that I pulled out the other day. And if it just gets too weird, we're going to do something else here because yours is pretty clearly delineated. Okay, sorry. That asshole started a competition on the roster and the loser lost the MVP. Woo! Somebody could lose you as the MVP here in a work relationship, or this could be literally the relationship, a romantic relationship, and this fool has lost you because they had a bunch of people on the roster, okay? In the wee hours, 3 to 5 a.m. is significant. Scissors, cut them or that out of your life. And in the bag, course of employment, stolen. Gosh, bless it. You can't even make this stuff up. You can't make this stuff up. I mean, like these synchronicities. I'm sorry I get so excited. That's why nobody should even be watching this because I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, we've got Hughes Aircraft. The past is the answer. So something in the past could answer a question for you. Pathfinder, somebody could drive a Pathfinder. Do people make Pathfinders anymore? I drive a beat up jalopy when I do. Okay, I don't care. I just try to stay free. Pathfinder, you know how to make your way. Yes, baby. Yes, you do. Real estate agent is significant and the word verify. Be careful. Be careful. Be careful because there are some creepy people that will try to talk you into this real estate deal or that, or like we're going to go into the Airbnb crowd. No shade to the Airbnb people, but we find more and more fraud all wrapped up with taxes and Airbnb stuff. Not to mention that, people throw cameras in the walls. I want you all for myself. That's why I've got cameras in the walls. And we also have too many varieties. They can't make a decision. Indecisive. All right, so look, pick a side, okay? Aquí no tenemos tiempo para comer mierda. Okay, so people need to make a decision or don't make a decision, but don't waste time. Bullet time. So that just talks about if you don't know what to do, then slow things down and look at it in a different way. Blood sausage. I don't know how to, because I'm beyond this scenario. Okay, I'm free. Blood sausage. Someone likes sex on the rag. There, and there you have it. Okay. Fridge magnets. Don't forget your prayers. Okay, so do you hear what I'm saying to you? All right, don't forget to pray. Keep yourself prayed up. I think I've read enough of this here, I'm glad that you have a healthy sex life. There's nothing wrong with some people are going to freak out, but I've been married and look, I think that's all I'm going to say about that because then it could get particularly weird. I think that's all she wrote, and I will be talking to you soon. I love you guys. All right. So if you're going through a challenging situation, just know that it's going to work itself out, but you must go with the flow and do what needs to be done. If it's a work situation and you're being treated too poorly, remember that you have rights and you should check out what those rights are in your province, in your area, whatever, keep track and keep score just in case something gets pretty stupid. Okay, love you guys.
ما في رفوني إلك